So will he be allowed back on? Republican Congressman of Colorado, Ken Buck, joins us now. Also a ranking member of the House Judiciary Subcommittee on Antitrust. So, Congressman, that gives you oversight and a lot of insight on how monopolies work. What do you think of the ban, and what do you think Facebook will do?
Well, Facebook's a private corporation, and they can do what they want to do. And in this case, they are discriminating against conservative speech. The answer is not to form some sort of government agency to oversee a private corporation and how it applies its rules. The answer is to make sure that we have competition in the marketplace and have 4 or 5 Facebooks and 3 or 4 Googles and 5 or 6 Twitter companies. And when we diversify the social media platforms, we will get more competition, and we will also get more diversity in viewpoints.
Well, Facebook says it's not conservative speech. It's violating the rules over violent and encouraging violence and an insurrection against this country, an attack on our democracy. What is your view of that?
Well, I think that's the biased view of a certain group of Californians who don't like President Trump and don't like conservatives, and they say it's violent. They have Bashar Assad from Syria on. He has 250,000 followers, and he is spewing anti-Israeli and anti-American hate, and yet that's fine with them. But President Trump somehow is a threat to our country. It's nonsense. But again, the answer is not to have government oversee a private corporation. It's to make sure that that private corporation is competing in the marketplace against others.
Here's what Mr. McConnell was on Fox News Sunday this morning when the president talked about the rioters to go home. He said the president issued those statements as a mob was ripping through the Capitol and members of Congress, your colleagues, were cowering in fear. And here's what the board said. Citing the president's coming out saying that they are very special people, that the people who were up at the Capitol, among them the rioters, were patriots. The board said, quote, there was clear immediate risk of harm, and his words of support for those involved in the riots legitimized their violent actions. So, what would you tell Facebook when you point out that, look, Khamenei, the Iranian Ayatollah, I mean, he's on Facebook at the same time that they are citing President Trump's words that they say instigated and caused the attack on our Capitol.
Yeah, it's the inconsistency of how they apply these rules that's so concerning. I think that President Trump made it very clear in his speech on the Mall that he wanted a peaceful demonstration, and he's also made it clear in his video taped speech that he wanted to make sure that these people left the Capitol building. That is not inciting a riot or inciting an insurrection or creating an immediate harm. The individuals who entered the Capitol building and rioted should be held responsible for their actions, but President Trump should be allowed to speak in different forms without being censored by these private corporations.
So what do you think will happen? They say they will review this in 6 months. And as a member, the ranking member of the Antitrust Committee, what type of legislation do you see moving through the House to deal with this?
Well, this issue with Facebook is something that has been going on for a long time, and it's a result of mergers and acquisitions in the marketplace not being scrutinized properly by the FTC and the Antitrust Division at the Department of Justice. It's a result of this monopoly that Facebook has created, and there will be a number of bills, probably 5 or 6 bills in May alone, that will address the monopoly that these 5 platforms have, and hopefully create the kind of competition that addresses these speech issues.
Congressman Ken Buck, a Republican of Colorado, who is the ranking member on the House Judiciary Antitrust Committee, who knows this issue very well. Congressman, thank you. Thanks for joining us at Fox News Live today.
Thank you.